New Zealand have postponed their white ball tour of Australia. Hello, everyone. This is the Cricket Forum, your place for the latest news, views, rumors, and gossips in the world of cricket. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome. I am Carlton Brown. Also in today's show, 4 Indian cricketers at the ICC Under-19 World Cup test positive for COVID. Melbourne Renegades Cameron Boyce took double hat-trick in BBL as Glen Maxwell smashes the highest ever total ever scored in a BBL game. West Indies cricket coach Phil Simmons not worried about losing his job. England assistant coach Graham Thorpe reported for smoking in an hotel, and the female hashes started where the male hashes end with an Australian victory. Please remember to slash a like on the video, share, and subscribe. Today's show is brought to you by the Dealmaker Store. Looking for a clean, reliable, pre-owned motor vehicle to purchase in the Caribbean? Then click the link in the video description and contact the Dealmaker Store. So we start today with the news that New Zealand have done it again. Yes, New Zealand have postponed another tour, this time their white ball tour of Australia that was scheduled to start on the 24th of January. New Zealand is known for this. New Zealand have one of the strictest COVID regulation in the world, if not the strictest. They have strict mandates, and so this tour was planned from last year to take place starting the 24th of January. What happened is that the Omicron variant came around and the spike in the number of COVID cases going up. So the Australian government, the New Zealand government, institute the MIQ, Mandatory Isolation and Quarantine Mandate. This MIQ lasts for 10 days. So everyone coming to New Zealand has to go into the MIQ at their expense for 10 days. Now, what the New Zealand cricketers are saying is that when they return from Australia, they are not prepared to be quarantined for the 10 days. And the New Zealand government was not willing to accommodate the cricketers, although they would be coming directly from Australia on a chart. Sorry about that. Although they would be coming directly from Australia on a chartered flight, the New Zealand government was not prepared to accommodate them. So their solution is to postpone the tour to a later date. It has not been cancelled, it has been postponed. So the reason given is that the MIQ that is in place by the New Zealand government, which required all travelers to New Zealand, all travelers, citizens are not, to quarantine for 10 days at their expense. Mandatory isolation quarantine. The measures is called the MIQ for short. So for now, the New Zealand white ball tour of Australia that was to take place from the 24th of January to the 9th of February, which included 3 ODI and 1 T20, have been postponed, meaning that no one-day international will be taking place in Australia this Australian summer, because it's now summer in Australia. So they will have no ODI series this year in Australia, which would be the first for a very, very, very long time. Maybe way back until from in the 1960s. So almost 80 years. This is the first time that there will not be an ODI series in Australia in the Australian summer. 4 Indian players at the ICC Under-19 World Cup in the West Indies have tested positive for COVID-19. These 4 players, including the captain and the vice captain. There's another 2 players that have been isolated. they say that they have symptoms, they have tested them, but the result have not yet come back in as yet. So as a result, India played their match yesterday with 11 players. They had no substitute because the other 6 players were isolated. But despite playing the match yesterday with only 11 players, well, 11 players required to play, they had no substitute. I figured that if there was a case for a substitute, I don't know if the island fielder would have helped them or so on. I don't know, but that's how cricket usually played, because cricket was referred to as a gentleman game. So sometimes players from the other team would field if there's a situation like this. The 11 players are in the field, they have no substitute, somebody has to come off for injury or something, then a player from the other team would go and field. And they would try to do good. Yes, they would. That's how cricket used to play. So India played with only 11 players. They still managed to make 307 for 5 and bowl out Ireland for 133. So they won the match comfortable, although they have no substitute, without the captain, without the vice captain, and 4 other players. Now their match against Uganda that is scheduled for Saturday, that match at this moment is in doubt, but we expect it to go ahead, but it's in doubt because all the players have been fully vaccinated, and the quarantine time when they are fully vaccinated is 3 days. So they are probably now going to test them again by Friday, by tomorrow, and see if they are negative. Once they are negative, they are good to go. So the news is that 4 Indian players at the Under-19 World Cup in the West Indies have tested positive, and 2 further players are in isolation. Also at the Under-19 World Cup, Zimbabwe Victor Chira, Chira, Victor Chira, have been suspended from bowling. He's a left-arm orthodox spinner and have been suspended from bowling because he's suspected of throwing. So he was reported by the match official in their match against Papa New Guinea for throwing. And as a result, Victor Chira have been suspended from bowling in international cricket. So he will have to go and work on his bowling action. So at this moment, Victor Chira, the left-arm orthodox New Zealand spinner at the Under-19 World Cup in the West Indies, have been suspended from bowling because he threw in the match against Papua New Guinea. So today's match at the Under-19 World Cup, we'll see Pakistan playing Afghanistan. The matches all started at 8 o'clock Jamaica time, 9 o'clock Eastern Caribbean time. And so Pakistan versus Afghanistan, England play the UAE, and Canada will play Bangladesh. That could be a very, very interesting match. Both those teams, although Bangladesh is the defending champion, their team this year isn't that impressive. And Canada, one of the winners of cricket, will be expecting to put up a good show against Bangladesh. Now, there have been a little cricketing history in the BBL over the last 2 days. So Cameron Boyce of the Melbourne Renegades took 4 wickets in 4 deliveries. Yes, 4 wickets in 4 deliveries. In cricket, they call it a double hat-trick. Yeah, it is called a double hat-trick. When you get 3 wickets in 3 deliveries, it is called a hat-trick. But when you get 4 wickets in 4 deliveries, it is called a double hat-trick. I don't know the origin of the term, but the founders of the game called it a double hat-trick. It could be called a quadric, 4/4, quadric. Why it isn't called a quadric, I don't know, but it is called a double hat-trick. So on the last ball of his 7th over, he have Alex Hales out. Alex Hales was going very good for the Scorchers. I think the Scorchers. Alex Hales was going great gun, but he had him out the last ball of the 7th over. Then the first ball of his 9th over, Jason Shanghai was stumped. And his hat-trick delivery was Alex Ross leg before, and the double hat-trick ball was Daniel Sams. He tossed up one to Daniel Sams, and Sams trying to work it through the mid-wicket. The ball lick him flush on the pad, dead in front of middle stump, and he was out leg before. So Melbourne Renegade Cameron Boyce became the first player in the history of BBL cricket to take a double hat-trick. Congratulations, Cameron Boyce, and we look forward. That's a name that we are going to look forward to hearing some more. He's a very, very good young leg spinner, Cameron Boyce from Australia, and we look forward to see more of Cameron Boyce. So he was the first player ever to take a double hat-trick in the BBL. Also in the BBL, Glen Maxwell recorded the highest individual score ever in the BBL, 154. He hit 22 fours and 4 sixes. Sorry about that. 22 4 and 4 sixes. Glen Maxwell, 22 fours and 4 sixes in a masterful 154 from 64 deliveries in carrying the Melbourne Star against the Hobart Hurricane to 273, just 5 runs short of the highest total ever recorded in T20 history. And that was by Afghanistan, who made 278 against Ireland. So the highest score ever in T20 history, 278, made by Afghanistan against Ireland, was under threat as the Melbourne Star, led by Glen Maxwell, 154 off 64 deliveries, 22 fours and 4 sixes, beating the record held by Marcus Stonis, who is also a member of this year's Melbourne Star team. That record was 147. So Marcus Stonis was the one who held the record up to yesterday when Glen Maxwell broke it. Marcus Stonis, the record was 147. Stonis is also a member of this Melbourne Star team. But Glen Maxwell with 22 fours and 4 sixties in a 64-ball masterclass has broken that record by scoring 154